Hello and welcome to the Dino and Joe Show. Me, Dino, him, Joe.
Hi, me Joe.
That's my
Nice meet.
caveman introduction. Did you like
Nice
it?
meet. Nice meet. Um,
We are worldwide. I don't know if you
it's
know this or not, but the podcast has gone international. And so for our friends in Sweden and the Netherlands, we say,
hey. So in Sweden we will say hey. In the Netherlands we will say hallo.
and
Uh,
then we've also have listeners now in Greece.
it's I will say yasas to our friends in Greece,
There
and
you
then of
go.
course We also have friends in Japan. So
Yes.
konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Uh, and our friends in the United Kingdom we say hello. So there you go. I'm so sorry. That was
That
probably
was,
very offensive
none of that
to
was
many of you,
actually
but
prepared, but that was actually so good.
it was fun.
Uh, that was really bad
Yes,
and really good at the
it was
same
yeah, it
time.
was one of those things. So either those people in Sweden, the Netherlands, Japan, the UK, and Greece are either going to appreciate our sincere hello, but
Oh, they
also
stopped
that
listening.
that somewhat comedic twist on it, or they're going to be greatly offended and never listen
Yep.
again. So
We just lost all those listeners. Good on us.
oh man.
Um, so I love the fact that the holidays happen, and
Mhm.
then when you have kids, right? Like the yeah, all kids are the same in some ways, right?
Mhm.
And you get past the holidays, and the next time you go to a store, they're like, "Hey, can I get this?" Right? Because that just happens. Like it's just their world, right? They've already moved beyond what they've gotten for Christmas, right?
Mhm.
And I love when people buy themselves gifts after Christmas. But
Yes.
you and I are a little bit different in the way that we shop, right? Because
Hmm.
we don't really like wait till Christmas. Our wives and girlfriends don't really. By the way, I'm going to adopt the European soccer definition for a wife or a girlfriend of a soccer player. They call them wags. So I'm going to start calling our lady friends wags,
Wags. Okay.
because my wife, your girlfriend, right?
Yeah, it makes
So
sense.
our wags don't really wait, right? My
Mhm.
wife will buy me something and then just give it to me. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
Christmas is coming. She's like, yeah, but I wanted to get that for
Whatever.
you, you
Right.
know. And then 'cause she's already gotten Christmas gifts, so that like that happens, right? Do you have those moments when you buy yourself something after Christmas because you're like, I don't know, whatever?
All the time. Because here's the thing, just be like, I'm sorry, like sometimes before Christmas, for instance, I don't want to wait until Christmas to get it. I want it now. That's why I just bought it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'll do that. And then sometimes after Christmas, I'll realize, ooh, that's something I didn't notice before. I want
yeah,
to buy it.
yep,
For example, we had a little bit of a concern of COVID that I'm very pleased that it wasn't, which is great.
yeah.
But
Oof.
we wanted to quarantine to make sure. And during that boredom time, we realized we don't really have any like board games or anything. So
Right.
we wanted to play something. We have a Nintendo Switch and Xbox. That's fun, but we wanted to get kind of analog, if you will.
Yeah. Yep.
So I popped on the old Amazon.com. Again, we'll take a sponsor, so give us that sponsor, Amazon. And we went ahead and bought it's called Unsolved Case Files. So essentially, it's in this plastic case that says unsolved case file,
Okay.
evidence, and you rip it open and it's literally a case file like you would see at a police office. Obviously, it's fake. It's just a game,
Or
but
is it? Bum
or
bum
is it? Dun
bum.
dun dun. And it gives you packets full of evidence. It gives you headshots of all the
Uh-huh.
suspects. It gives you their written statements. It gives you all these different things. It gives you photos of the crime scene, everything you would need.
Okay.
And you're basically supposed to just figure it out who killed. I think this one is called Jamie Banks. So who killed Jamie Banks? And it's a cold case file because the detective at the time wasn't able to solve it back in
Okay.
'92. And that's what you have to do.
It was his last case before he retired. He's still
Before he
haunted
retired.
by
He
it,
just is still
you know.
haunted. So I wanted to try to help the poor guy out.
Do you have to
Uh,
go like meet with him later on to go to like ask him questions like they always do in
yes,
the detective
right,
shows?
exactly.
You know, they show up at some guy's house. I'm retired, and then they're like, "Hey, were you working this case?" No, and you find out like he hid evidence later on, and he's actually the one who.
He's the one who did it.
Yeah, I don't want to give that away, but I just solved your
But
case for you.
you solved my case for it. It's actually really interesting because some people will say, and this is fair,
Yeah.
it's too much reading. It is a lot of reading. You
Oh,
have to
I'm
read
sure
through a
it's a
lot
lot.
of documents. You got to read through a lot of stuff. But like Our Tiff and mine, and we have very analytical minds where we love learning stuff like that. We love looking at things that are not obvious and trying to figure that out.
Okay,
That's a huge thing.
gotcha.
Except, for instance, we just rediscovered our love of Microsoft Solitaire and the Solitaire collection.
This
Wait,
went a left turn.
well, no,
This
it's
took
the
a
analytical.
gigantic left turn.
It's the analytical mind piece.
You
So
playing
there's
Klondike on the side, are you?
so here's the thing. There's Klondike,
Yeah,
Spider, Free
yeah.
Cell,
Free cell, yeah,
Tri-Peaks,
yeah.
and Pyramid. Third.
Yes.
Those are the big ones.
I'm a free cell champion.
I despise Free Cell.
Oh, put it on expert level and I go.
Gross. Nope. 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 That's what I'm
That's the only
saying.
one I play.
Her mind is very analytical for that. She can see like 5 moves ahead.
Mhm.
She can see, okay, wait, I can move the 4 by the 5. I can move this over here. I move that
Yep.
up there. Take the. I get frustrated in the middle of it, and I say, figure this out for me so I can get past it. That's it. I am much more of a Tri-Peaks or a Pyramid person myself. I can do some Klondike. That's fine. Spider, whatever. But Free Cell, that's what I'm saying. Like, we have slightly different. She has the ability to use that analytical mind on like a
Okay.
variety of things.
Right.
I can only really use it on things that are like written that I can figure out from like a word problem or something like that.
Okay.
I
So
always I hit hint, 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 and then it turns out it's unsolvable anyway, and I get angry. Ugh. I keep,
how many cold case files have you guys solved?
so we only have the one.
Oh, it's just one.
It's just one because
Oh,
it's like a one time thing, and it says it takes like 45 minutes to an hour.
okay.
That's about right. Some people might say that's a little expensive. Maybe it is. It was like $20.
Did you
Whatever.
solve it?
Yeah, I'm not
Were
gonna
you
tell you
right?
who. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Please.
Of course.
It's almost
Come
insulting that
on.
you had to ask that.
Really?
Of course
Give us Jack the Ripper next. I can tell you who got that,
we can figure it out.
I'm trying to think what other cold case files are out there. I was sad that that's the one that came to
That's the
mind.
one that came to mind. What we did do was beforehand we laid out all the pictures and we looked at them.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, okay, here's what I want you to do. Take this small slip of paper. I'll take this one. Write down who you think it is right now without knowing anything. We know nothing
You
except.
prejudged.
Oh yeah, 100% we did.
Oh, yeah. I thought you're like, yeah. Absolutely.
Jamie Banks is dead.
Yes.
I think it was like November 7th, 1992 is the case date.
Okay.
She
Was
was like
JB Banks like somebody famous or like just a
I think
normal?
it's just a normal
Just a
person.
Joe
She was
Schmo.
like
Okay.
17 years old.
Yep.
And she died. And there were 5 different people. And we just had to. I was like, pick who you think it is.
Oh, you had 5 suspects.
5 suspects. Sorry, 5 suspects.
Persons of interest in
Correct.
a cold case.
Correct. Persons. Well, no. At this, they were suspects because, for instance, one of them.
Yes.
Tom.
Riddle.
No, not Tom. Oh,
He did it. It's Voldemort.
We'll talk about that in a second. Tom something. He was seen by there are CCTV pictures of him near the body. Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Could that have been him? So we picked that. But anyways,
Okay.
to make another left turn, Tom Riddle. I
Yes.
just finally finished all of the Harry Potter movies. So I saw 1, 2, 3,
movies?
4. Yeah.
That's the easy part. I thought
Well,
you could say the book, and I was going to be like, yeah, they can be kind of long, but the movies?
So 1 through 5 I had seen on my own.
Okay.
6, 7, and 8 I never saw. So we sat down and committed like 19 hours to those, and they were enjoyable. I actually really liked them.
We
And
watch them occasionally, yes.
We want to watch the HBO Max like 20-year reunion get together thing.
It's really good.
Is it?
Yeah, we watched it because Emily is huge into Harry Potter. I have this thing where I believe that everybody's a fan of something, right? So I like Funko so much because you can find a Funko for anybody who, because they do Liverpool ones. And so I was so excited. I got a Jurgen Klopp one, made me really, really excited. But everybody's got a fan thing, right? And she loves Harry Potter, and more power to her because I think it's awesome, right? The kids are kind of into it. So they're reading the books, and then we watch the movies, and we've seen all the movies. I've seen all the movies a million times. But we went and watched the special the day it came out. That was like, we knew that night we were going to watch it. And it's so worth watching.
Good.
So worth watching.
I'm excited. That's the other reason, because I would not call myself a Potter maniac, but I think it's interesting and I think it's cool. Like I'm a very like I would never turn it off if it were on.
I don't.
and
There's nothing
having
wrong with a good story. Like
not at
when the
all.
stories are good,
It's worth it.
like enjoy them. That's what they are. They're stories.
And I saw that came out, and I was like, I really kind of want to watch it, but I want to make sure I know everything. So we watched the movies; they were great. Did I ever tell you about the time I went to Universal Studios and I tried to get on? I went to Pottersville. No, I keep calling it Pottersville, and it's Last Train Pottersville. Never mind. It's a jazz tune. I'm an
Yeah.
idiot. What is it called? Potter Town, Potter in Disney or in Universal.
Yeah.
There's a whole Potter area,
Yeah.
and we went there, and I thought it was super so cool. I went
Very
on some of
cool.
the rides; it was awesome. Couldn't go on Hagrid's, which I wish I did. And you know what? For like a 7 foot, 400 pound dude,
Yeah.
6'3" me couldn't fit on it because my legs were too big.
Wow.
So that seems kind of ridiculous.
We went. I took. So this is before Henry was born.
Mhm.
So George was really young. And I set it all up. So I surprised them. So Emily and I were going to London,
Mhm.
and one of the stops we were making was to the sets of Harry Potter.
Ooh,
So they still have all the sets and they're
mhm.
up and you can tour them, right? And so
That's
that
awesome.
was something that we were going to do. Really excited to do it. I think it might be in the Midlands area, like Birmingham area. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to check. But so before that, I surprised them with a weekend trip to Universal to go to Harry Potter.
That's cool.
And when I say I surprised them, I went and recreated the letters to Hogwarts for them.
That's so.
I got the
You
wax
don't do
seal.
you don't do
I
anything like
I got them
halfway.
owls to deliver. Oh, I mean, I'm telling you, like the owls were up in the lights as they walked into our chandelier that sits above our dining room table, and they had no idea they were going. And I mean, I went and recreated the letter word for word of what it reads in Harry Potter, like in the script. Like I went the whole way. I found parchment to put it on. Like I'm kidding. It's and what is amazing there is the wands and the magic, right?
Mm,
So you go in and you go to Ollivander's and you get your wand, and there's spots where you can move the wand in certain ways, and like windows inside the businesses
yes,
change or
yes,
do
yes, yes,
stuff, or
yes.
like water pours out of the one
Mhm.
umbrella thing. Like it is so well done. Um, and then at that time, Escape from Gringotts had just happened. So you had the
Okay.
big
Yeah.
dragon on top of the bank,
Yep.
and
I went
then
on that. That was
Emily
awesome.
rode that. I didn't ride that one. Emily rode that um, because we had to trade off because we had obviously our small child at the time, and the line was like 2 hours long. It's just crazy. And then I rode. I don't remember the other ride, but it's the one where you follow Harry on the brooms.
Oh,
I mean, that thing is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Such a
yeah.
fun ride. Um, and then we spent the majority time in the Harry Potter world. We took a couple trips into Transformers and
Oh, of course.
Minions, right?
Right.
Obviously, I have a great picture of my son with a little bumblebee showing it to the bumblebee transformer,
That's
and
awesome.
that's pretty fun. But I will tell you, like it was so fun and it was so great, and the stories are great. And when you walk into that Diagon Alley in real life for the
Oh
first
yeah,
time, you're like, holy cow!
it's
Like
amazing.
this, yeah, that is so well done. So I'm interested to see what, because again, we went probably really early on. I mean, it has been a number of years, so I'm interested in what they've added because I really don't know.
Well, the big one that was very popular, like I said, I couldn't ride. Also, it was super cold. Was Hagrid's.
Yeah,
Like you can basically ride on his like little motorcycle with the sidecar. That looks awesome.
yeah,
I went on Green Gots. That was again at the time I hadn't seen them all. I understood what Green Gots was. I understood the
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah,
It was super cool.
yeah,
It was insane. And I wouldn't say I was. I wouldn't say I'm not a fan. I just don't know it super well. But going there,
sure,
taking the Hogwarts Express first of all, that
yeah.
was super cool.
Oh, that was so well
It
done
was
with the
so well done.
windows
It looks
and
like
the
Harry and everything.
shadows. Yeah, oh,
So cool.
so cool.
Um, and just walking around all of the different downtown,
Yeah,
area. It was so
yeah.
so nice.
The sad part is about that trip. The other part that we all got really excited about was the Simpsons.
The what?
The Simpsons.
Oh,
That whole Simpsons world, that's crazy.
it's cool.
I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
I feel bad because I have a bad taste in my mouth from Universal only because the day we went 2 years ago in 2020 in January,
Mhm.
um, it was like 34 degrees. It was
Oh,
literally frigid cold
that's
in
a cold
Florida.
day in Florida for
It's so
sure.
crazy. It was so crazy. So a lot of the rides weren't working.
Right. Right.
And the few rides that were, again, I'm a tall freak of nature, and these rides were not made for somebody who has 95% legs. I am mostly legs. So my knees were like up to here, and the bar would like hit
Right.
it, and
Right.
I couldn't get on some of these rides. So it just left a bad taste in my mouth. But I would like to go back again one day when it's maybe 80
Yeah.
and the rides are working, like the Hulk and things like that.
Yeah.
But we went on the Jimmy Fallon one, like you said. We went to Transformers, that kind of cool stuff. So it was fun.
Yeah. Awesome. So, um, I totally just forgot what I was gonna say. I did. I just totally lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
But I mean, maybe we'll have to make a trip to Universal together and
Let's do it. I'm never
uh,
against that.
do the whole Harry Potter world because my wife can give you a guided tour.
I would love a guided tour.
We'll be back. It's the Dino and Joe Show. Hey, welcome back to the Dino and Joe Show. This is Dino. That is Joe.
It's true. I am. I have a question for you though.
Oh, all right.
So recently,
Yes.
I have been tasked with a project of my wonderful in-laws, and
Okay.
they needed some help painting. They wanted to paint
Oh,
their windows,
all right.
right? And that begs the question. I have a very specific history with painting.
Okay.
So they wanted us to paint the window, like the actual window sills and all that,
Yeah.
and then we ended up painting the whole wall.
Okay.
These days, meaning in my 30s, I love sanding. I love spackling some holes that are in the wall. I love sanding it down. I love priming it, painting it, making it look perfect. That edging using the roller, the whole thing. Love it.
Uh-huh.
My
Yeah.
favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Not always the case. When I was a young kid, and my parents, as you know, listen. So they're gonna hear this, and they're probably gonna say that's not true, but it is. Uh, they were very restrictive.
Wait, how would your mom say
Joe, you're making things up now. It's not even true. I don't even know what you're talking about. She sounds nothing like that.
it?
Uh, but no, so there's a few things. They would always want to paint stuff, and I would have to help. I never wanted to paint.
Sure.
I hated that.
Yeah.
And the few times that I asked them, all I wanted in my room was a black wall. One wall that was black.
You going through that period
I
in
it
your
just
life? You were
I
going through
just
that emo,
not even emo. I
rebellion,
just wanted a
dark.
black wall. What's the big
Why?
deal? I don't know. I was a 13-year-old kid, Dean. It's just I wanted a black wall. I can't give you any better explanation than that.
Why
It
would
just
you want a black
it
wall?
looked cool because the
It did
other
not
two,
look cool.
well, in my head it did, but I never know that because I wasn't allowed.
And I'm
Anyway,
about to tell you why
why?
you are not allowed to have a
Why?
black wall in your
Why is
room.
that? Why is that?
Because it is the hardest thing to paint over.
Probably, but we lived in that house for like a very long time,
That's not how parents look at it. I can
and we
tell
don't
you,
have.
you didn't get a black wall because it would take multiple coats of paint to cover up that black wall
Why
when
do
you
we need
moved
to paint it? Why? Let somebody else deal with that.
out.
Oh, and by the way, the downstairs bathroom,
Yeah,
guess what color they painted it?
black.
Black.
Well,
Oh, well, wow. Yeah, see,
did they
wow,
use,
wow.
wait a minute, did they use paint or did they use wallpaper?
No, they used paint.
Oh, they painted it.
Paint.
Painted it. Oh, all right.
And pause. This was when I was 13. Let's fast forward to like 2 years ago. My mother calls me and says, she's going on a painting kick. Guess what? She's painting everything
No.
black. Everything. She's painting everything like the basement's black. This is black.
I
I
have
just
no
like
explanation for that.
I cannot. And I said, you have a lot of courage calling me and just telling me this with a straight face. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, you wouldn't let me paint my one wall black. And she's like, well, you were a kid. And I was like, what
Right.
does that even mean? I know what the color black is. It's not going to do something. I just wanted a single black wall where my bed was. That was it. So,
So,
anyways,
but
I
just that's a weird request. I'm just gonna tell you.
maybe, but how hard is it? Like they wouldn't even had to do it. They always made me paint anyway while they were off doing something else. So what's the difference? God.
Wow, you uncorked the whole
So yeah.
emotions here.
Well,
There's some pent-up frustration from years ago.
I was sanding my in-laws' wall and painting it. I'm thinking, man, this is fun. I
I should be
love this.
I should be charging by the hour right now.
Yeah, honestly.
The doctor is in session.
Anyway,
So okay, so let's go back though. So now she's painting stuff black now that
yes.
wasn't going to be black previously. Um, is any part of your room now going to be black when it wasn't allowed to be when you were a kid?
No,
Oh, all right. I thought that would be that's the ultimate irony if
that's
she goes up and paints that one wall
no.
now and goes,
Well,
there you go.
that was like 3 houses ago. So I should ask her if she would paint the one room because they live in Michigan. I should ask her if she can paint the one room I always stay in, just one of those walls black.
There you go.
That would be
That's a
fair.
good trade-off. That yeah, that's a good compromise.
Anyways,
Jeez.
like I said, I love painting now. I hated painting back then. What is your feeling on painting, whether it's your own
Um,
house, somebody else's?
I'll do it,
Okay,
but
that's
I mean,
that's very reticent. You're like, if I have to.
painting is like this. It always seems really fun to do, and oh, it's gonna be great. And then you're an hour in. I've never painted and had to just paint one room.
Really?
I've never painted and just had to paint one wall.
Oh
I've
well.
always had to paint everything. And so the other thing too is I grew up at a time my dad, to make extra money in the summer, would paint houses.
Hmm,
My dad didn't have a work crew. He
hmm.
had kids.
Right.
So my grandfather, my uncle, they would come help him, but my brother and I had to come help him. And it always turned out that my brother and I turned into I had to go help him. My brother wasn't around a lot. I'm not
Right.
really sure what he did, but he didn't, and he was two
He
years
wasn't
older than
there.
I. But
Okay.
he just was never there. I remember a time I was outside putting a headlight in his car and I couldn't drive yet with my dad. And I said, Dad, where's Gordon? Why isn't he out here doing this? And my dad's dead on, looked at me in the face and said, your brother just has different interests than you do.
It's like I'm not
What
interested in this.
was
What does
that?
that mean?
Like, what? So yeah, I don't think my brother can change a tire on a car even to this day, but maybe he can. Sorry, Gordon. And then so yeah, I mean that's how I grew up, right? And so do I have a love of painting? No, I spent a lot of time painting. I remember painting houses.
Hmm.
I was not my enjoyable thing to do. And then today, like I said, like when you start thinking, oh, we're gonna paint, that's great. I can do that because I painted it all my life, blah blah blah. And then you get like an hour in, you're like, this sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. I've lost the excitement.
Well, see behind you, I see. For those of you listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get these wonderful podcasts,
Yes.
Dean's room has a beautiful mint behind him in the
Yes.
upper third. There's a middle stripe that is a beige, and then
Yes.
a lower blue green or a
Hmm.
darker green. It's a
Yes.
fantastic. Did you paint that yourself?
I did.
See, look at that. That has to be very rewarding. Look at that. That's a
I
great
don't
looking
know.
room right
I
there.
don't know if that's rewarding. I know that it's something that I did when we moved
This
into the house.
my
You should
so
have seen
this
this place before I painted.
really
Oh, it was weird.
rough.
Weird. Uh, weird. Like this room that we're in had a border that ran through the middle, and it was like camels and palm trees. Like it was just bizarre. My one son's room was purple with teddy bears as a border. The living room, which has crown molding, which is really nice,
Mm.
had a layer underneath that of watermelons for a border. Um, yeah. Do you know the
Okay,
Snosberry wall from
of
Charlie and the
course,
Chocolate Factory?
of course.
We went in our entry. This house was built in the 60s, right? So it had that same vibe. You walked in and there were two brick planters that had fake plants in them.
Hmm.
And on the wall was the Snosberry wall. That's what we called it. And you literally looked like you could scratch it, and then
That's
you would
great.
go, "The Snosberries smell like
Tastes like
Snosberries."
smells. That's
And
fantastic.
so, like that all came down, and it was one of those old wallpapers. We just pulled it, and it just
Yeah,
the sheet came down,
yeah, of
like,
course. It wasn't
and
on there
then
very well.
yeah, no. So I had to paint the whole house when we moved in. It was pretty bad. Our bathroom had outhouses as its
Oh,
theme, and so there were wooden outhouses that were like attached to the walls.
that's an option.
Bizarre. Yeah, it's a choice. Not my choice, but it's a choice.
It's an option.
And so yeah, I mean, I had to paint the whole house. And then, like I said, I never paint just a room or a wall. I
Right.
always end up having to paint everything. And
Well,
then
that's the
yeah.
funny part. That's the funny part about this because they literally just wanted a wall and two sills, which
See, I
were
might have done that. I might have been like, oh, okay, cool. I can get that. I can knock that out in a day.
and my well the other thing that I just absolutely love about painting, and most people hate this part, is the prep. I
Oh,
love taping. I love making everything, like for instance, the three colors you have, I would have
yeah.
loved to tape above and below that center beige line
Yeah.
to get that sharp edge, and then just slowly pull that tape off at the end and be like, look at that. Joe did that. That is beautiful. I actually said that. We did it today.
Yeah.
I pulled the tape off and I'm like, Joe did that. That is
At,
a that is
at
a
any spot in the
perfect line.
room, did you autograph your work?
No, I should have.
Oh, every
I
great
should have.
artiste autographs their work.
Well, yeah. Well, I
Just in the
also
corner of a room, just by Joe.
I fear, because if it were my parents' house,
Yeah.
I wouldn't care if I got paint on anything. I wouldn't care if I got paint on the window, on the floor, whatever.
Right.
We can wipe it up. It's not a big deal. But these are my in-laws. Like, I
Yeah.
want their house to
Yeah.
remain nice. I want them to think I am a competent painter. I want them to think I can do this very well.
So you
And
can get
so,
more work.
well, just so they didn't
They
think I
invite
was an
you back
idiot who
and
couldn't do that or like ruin their carpet or whatever. So it was
you want another unpaying job? Good man. References are impeccable though.
right. That's, yeah. If anybody wants free
He
labor
works for
for that kind
free.
of stuff, yeah, it's whatever.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I would choose not to paint. Now, have you painted anything inside the place where you live?
No, because we live in an apartment. There's no point in that because we're just gonna have to paint it back whenever we move out of here, probably, hopefully in the next year or two.
Wait, how long have you lived there?
Oh, wow.
Like, what's a while?
I
Like
don't
years?
know. Well, she lived here before me.
Okay.
So I've lived here since 2019.
Oh, that's not bad. 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went 3 years with
But also, like,
plain
what,
white walls.
like, it's just, no, first of all, they're taupe. So get that right.
Well, I'm sorry.
But it's just like, I don't know. It
Are you
just
having
didn't
an
make sense
earthquake right
because
now?
all the stuff. What's that?
Are you having an earthquake right now?
No, why? Oh, I'm shaking my leg, and is this what you're
Camera's
referring
bouncing
to?
up.
Oh no,
I'm like,
it's one of those crazy Midwestern earthquakes. No, that's my fault. I'm sorry.
like, wait a minute.
Sorry.
Are you like, okay,
It just didn't make sense because she already had her stuff up here, and
maybe I should get my glasses checked or something. I was like, am I seeing things? Or like, is he bouncing up and down? I'm
I
like,
don't know what
is
you mean.
my internet? Like,
Oh
used
no.
to be freezing. Now all of a sudden he's bouncing up and down. All right. Sorry
I
about
upgraded my internet so much that it can't handle all of the awesome I am putting through this right now.
how all
That's
of
what it
the
is.
awesome,
All
all
of
of
the awesome.
every
Every
ounce of
little
it. I'm
bit of it.
squeezing it out. Oh, that's funny.
That's great.
So you have taupe walls and you've never painted.
No, and we probably never will. Because now, when we buy our own home, townhouse, whatever, we will probably want to
You
paint
had
something.
this look of looking around like, I'm miserable here, Dean, and I just don't
Well,
want to say it.
no, it's just, like we
This
want to.
forlorning.
It's
Just
just.
look around like, oh, I wish I could paint a center
I wish
line
I
like
could
you
have a.
did.
Yeah,
I wish
honestly, yes.
I could have a
That.
wainscoting of some kind, but
Well, seriously, the mint, beige, dark green would be great. That'd be a great combo.
it's very nice in here.
It is.
It's a cool color for the office. And so,
It is.
yeah.
Very
It
relaxing.
literally looks like, oh,
Oh,
I'm
this
gonna
is
die here.
all the same thing.
It's the Dino and Joe Show.